Myself Diksha M M. Now I am going to explain the further types of software testing. Next type of software testing is alpha testing. It is the most common type of testing used in the software industry. It is a type of validation. This testing is to identify all possible issues or defects before the product is released to customers. This kind of test is done at the last phase of app development and is performed at the place of the developers before launching the product or before delivering it to the client to ensure that the user or client gets an error-free software application. Alpha testing is Alpha testing is run before the beta testing, which means that after performing alpha testing, we need to run beta testing. Alpha testing is not performed in the real environment. Rather, this kind of test is done by creating a virtual environment that resembles a real environment. For example, when software testing is performed initially within the organization. Next type of testing is beta testing. Beta testing is a form Beta testing is a form of type of software testing which is carried out by the customer. The beta testing is conducted at one or more customer sites by the end user of the software. This version is released for a limited number of users for testing in a real-time environment. When the software is under beta testing, it is called beta version of the software. After this testing is complete, the software is released to the public. For example, when software testing is performed for the limited number of people. And the next type of testing is system testing. Next slide. System testing. This software is tested that it works fine for the different operating systems and it is covered under black box testing technique. You already know what is black box testing. Nikita already explained it. It is covered under black box testing technique. In this, we just focus on the required input and output without focusing on the internal working. Uh, the system testing process is set up test environment, generate test cases, generate testing data, execute test cases, defect reporting, regression testing, log defects, retest. First test is set up test environment. Here it creates testing environment for the better quality testing. And the next step is generate test cases. Here it generates test case for the testing process. And the next step is generate testing data. Here generates the data that is to be tested. And the next step is execute test cases. After the generation of the test case and the test data, test cases are executed. Defect reporting. Here, defects in the system are detected. Regression testing. It is carried out to test the side effects of the testing process. Next, log defects. Defects are fixed in this step. And reset. Here, if the test is not successful, then again test is performed. The, the next type of testing is stress testing. This type of testing is done when a system is stressed beyond its specifications in order to check how and when it fails. This is performed under heavy load like putting large number beyond storage capacity, complex database queries, continuous input to the system or database load. In this testing, we give unfavorable conditions to the system and check how they perform in those conditions. For example, if may give test cases like that they require maximum memory or other resources are executed. Or we may give the test cases that may cause
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ 3 ಜನ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ
we may give the test cases that may cause hashing in the virtual operating system, or may give test cases that may cause excessive disk requirement. Like this, we give unfavorable conditions to the system and then check how they perform in those conditions. And the next type of testing is performance testing. Performance testing is a type of software testing is used to test the speed and effectiveness of the program. It is designed to test the runtime performance of software within the context of an integrated system. These tests are run to check if the software performance is good or not. It is also called as load testing. Some load testing tools for web applications are WebLoad, LoadNinja, NeoLoad, LoadRunner, etc. Next type of testing is object-oriented testing. This testing is combination of various testing techniques that help to verify and validate object-oriented software. The techniques of object-oriented techniques are fault-based testing, class testing based on method testing, random testing, partition testing, scenario-based testing. Fault-based testing. In this type of technique, it tries to identify possible faults. For all faults, a test case is developed to flush the errors out. Next, class testing based on method testing. In this, each method of class performs a well-defined cohesive function and can therefore be related to unit testing of the traditional testing technique. Random testing. In this, it is supported by developing a random test sequence that tries the minimum variety of operations typical to the behavior of the categories. And the next is partition testing. This methodology categorizes the inputs and outputs of a category as to check them severely. This minimizes the number of cases that have to be designed. Next, scenario-based testing. It primarily involves capturing the user actions, then stimulating them to similar actions throughout the test. These testing types, process, and these implementation methods keep changing as and when the project requirements and scope changes. Thank you.